Hey guys, welcome to another exciting edition of This Week on Unleash. We're going to talk about how to implement the operational leadership that we've been talking about for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And we talked a lot about management. We talked a lot about what things management are not doing. But this time we're going to talk a little bit about how you can utilize management. But the ultimate goal is to instill operational leadership. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, before we do that, I want to introduce my panel. To my left, we got none other than the exciting Georgie. Georgie, introduce yourself and your experience a little bit.
Hello, everyone. I'm Georgie Marshall. Super excited to be unleashed with you today. And I come from over 30 years of sales experience, call center leadership, retail, cold calling, and also working as an entrepreneur and just really loving leadership and the difference between management and leadership. And I think this is a conversation we have to have more of, empowering people that when we say manager, we're not just talking about the word managing, right? We're talking about the skills that you need to take your leadership skills to the next level and not just settle for the manager roles and titles. So I really love how we're digging in deep to really delineate that.
All right. And then your experience is what?
Over 30 years in sales and business development,
Okay.
cold calling, sales, leadership, entrepreneurship. I'm sorry, I don't know if
Okay.
you caught that. I don't know if you caught that in the beginning.
All right, that's okay. So she gave us a good lead into as well. All right, to my right, we have the cool and calm, collected Cameron.
All
Tell them a
right.
little bit about your experience and why you're here.
All right, how you doing, everyone? My name is Cameron Marksman. I have close to 25 plus years in the customer service, in sales, business, and even in technology in the background. And what I've noticed, it's just phenomenally where you could be able to take my experience and be able to shed light and be able to help young entrepreneurs and business owners to be able to show the next level of their business and how we can be able to show the difference between a manager and operational leaders and put that into their organization.
All right, thank you. So now you know who some of our panel are. I'm G, the fast-talking businessman, and I have quite a bit of experience as well in business, lifetime raised in it, and also had my own. But you can look at our a bio, and you can see more. To get into what we're talking about today, one more thing. I'm not trying to be cool, but the light just kind of blind me. I would squint a lot, so that's the idea of the sunglasses. So until I improve that, I'm going to be cool with it.
Okay, we like cool.
All right. So now, again, we talked a little bit about management. Let's kind of touch just on the tail end again about summarize, if you guys could. You just did some. Okay, I'm gonna come back to you again. Summarize again. What's going on with management? Again, this is not trying to nail any management crew or saying, hey, get rid of or get anybody out of there or just to just badmouth them. But it's to do what? What are we bringing attention to?
Just operational efficiency, wanting to bring solutions for the crisis that's happening right now in the companies where people are leaving, people are not happy, people are really not operating at the highest level of efficiency. And we want to really help doing that by bringing in operational leadership.
Okay.
And really helping people understand the difference between the word manager. Because really, I think when we hear the word manager, some people will even say, oh no, a manager is a leader. But really, a manager could just be a manager.
And that's a good point. People really do think that.
Yeah.
In fact, you see the two words, when you look up management, you see it in the description, you see leadership. But is it, nail it again. What's the difference?
Do they have a full understanding of what a leader does? That a leader is bringing that motivation and that vision, and they're able to look at the not just the function that they're in, but also have some insight on how to make an impact for that entire company.
Yeah.
And they can see the problems and they can offer solutions to the next ring of leadership or management to help them, make the business overall successful.
Yeah. And the key part to this, most people never thought about this, but managers and management was never required to lead. They was never asked to lead. They was asked to do what? To manage.
Ask. You know.
Just like we talked about before with the soup. They was never asked to lead. And so, to their defense, they was never trained to lead. Now, they've put them in some leadership courses, but it was kind of, what word I want to use, kind of skimming the surface, so to speak. They wasn't going into really what leadership is about. So, Cameron, with that, say it again, in short. What do you see, again, just in short, on how management is slowly being obsolete, or if you want to use that term, I wouldn't say obsolete, but correct my wording, but have faltered when it comes to operational of companies?
Of course. And so, just in my past experience, especially in corporate America, a couple of years back, I've noticed, yes, you have managers, you have different levels of management, but what we have noticed, you bring it forward, fast forward present day, a lot of times managers, they're there just to oversee, just like we talked about earlier, just the operational side of it, but not necessarily the vision of what a leader would do.
Yeah.
Right. So a manager's main role is to make sure that here's objectives, what's cast out for the day, and the team members are completing that task, and that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less. And and it's again, I'll say it like I said before in the past, they're more than just glorified babysitters to a company when they're dealing with the employees.
Yeah. Or like I said before, just stabilize it. Keep them stable.
Keep everything stable.
Yeah.
Their roles, and it's no fault to them. Like I said, I've dealt with great managers and terrible managers and everything in between. But everything they had in common is that everyone know that it is just a job to do, and that's all they see it.
Yeah. Or as we said one time before, it's like an engineer. An engineer can drive a train, but when that train jumped that track, now it's a whole different skill set. And right now the trains are jumping the track in business, and they're not prepared to operate that train now because it's like they're in uncharted water.
Right.
They're in uncharted waters, and so. But leadership, what's unique about operation leadership? You hear people talk a lot about leadership, operational leadership. Just like you hear people talk about managers, but operational managers, right? But there's a huge difference. The difference is some of the things we're going to get into now on why you should have an operational leader. Because we talked a little bit about vision. Because now you're talking about vision. And that word sometimes gets underused. Why is that word and why it should not be underused? Vision. A company having vision.
I heard a wise person say people perish for lack of knowledge, but also you have to write down your vision and make it plain. What I really wanted to address was that great analogy you used about the train track and about how when crisis and conflict come into your organization, as a leader, you're able to use all your function and all your operational skills, but you're able to bring the vision to leadership now. Okay, now this train went off the track. This train had a collision. This problem came up. Okay, now as an operational leader, not manager, leader, I can say, oh, I recommend this. Oh, I see this. Oh, I was studying this about our company, about our daily operations, and now I can recommend this to leadership. I don't just give you the problem, right? But I give you the solution.
Yeah. In fact, I'm glad you picked that up, because I remember when I owned my restaurants, one of the things that I learned in restaurant is that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when something's going to happen. And the same thing like we're talking about train jumping the track. It's not a matter of if, it's when. So if you're not prepared, I remember when I came in each morning, I was first to get to all of my restaurants when I got there. I was the first to get there. I would get there in the morning. And the reason I would get there, I would make sure that my crew, that my chefs, my cooks, make sure they have everything turned on. Because we knew something or somebody was either not going to show up or going to be late, or we knew a piece of equipment is not going to come on.
Yeah.
Right?
Something's
So
gonna
when
happen.
you anticipate this, which is what operational leadership does. You anticipate when that train jumped that track, you're going to know who to call. You're going to go, hey, Cameron, go look on my desk. There's a number for that train jumping track guy to come and get us back on course because you anticipated that. And management don't do that. And that's where the difference is. Vision. Vision is you forecast it. You see, and you want to let people know where we're going. And you want to let them know on the way there, we're going to have some flat tires, right? But on the way there, we got people who can change those tires.
That is true.
And that's what you fix in with operational leadership. So, Cameron, in your view, what's the next major point or major characteristics that operational leadership has to have and that companies don't right now?
I think
You talked about vision. So what's another one?
they have to be a good communicator.
Yeah.
That's huge. Because if you're not able to communicate people, how can you lead them?
Right.
And that is one of the big. I think that's what's missing. You will, of course, you won't see that much in the management level, but as a leader, they could be able to communicate and be able to express their vision and what they want to do, and knowing their skill sets. And that's another factor. The skills is knowing that the operation inside and out, and be able to say, hey, look, there's going to be a problem down the road, just like what you talked about, and that takes having the right someone with the right skills.
That is 100% huge because, it's like, okay, right now, it's 4 of us in here. Each one of us, we communicate different.
Yes.
But what makes it unique is that you probably understand some of my personality traits. I understand some of yours, but we're all different. And so that's what makes communication so, like you said, it's a skill. You have to learn it. And what makes some people frustrated is that they don't want to take the time to understand you because you're different than me.
Yes.
Okay? Or your culture is different than me. So I don't have that skill set to be able to get on that same link. And that's where a good leader is going to catch that. He's going to know how to articulate his vision, his goals,
I like that.
his forecast. He's going to know how to do that,
And
regardless of who you got.
And I will also add to it, they have to be more of a logically minded, especially in the world of operations. They cannot have their feelings overwhelm them.
Yeah.
Because one thing about business, run a business, is all about numbers, not feelings. And a lot of times I've seen in the past where they, especially in the management level, it's all about their emotions and business don't care about your emotions.
No.
It's about, can you get the numbers done? Can you make this deadline? Can you make this goal? Can you see the vision ahead of time?
Yeah.
And it takes a logically sound person to make that possible as well.
Those two alone, if your company do not have a good visionary leader, if it doesn't have a good communicator, communication is huge because it goes so far in understanding what each individual's strengths and weaknesses. Because a leader has to know his strengths, he has to know his weaknesses. Because you cannot surround yourself with a good team.
True.
Because it's like, I don't have a good team because if I don't know my weaknesses, I'm not trying to look for somebody just like me. I got to look for somebody smarter than me in some areas. And so that's what makes a great team. But if you don't know that, and if you're looking down on everyone instead of recognizing, okay, Jeremy has skills over here, I can't do what he does, right? Or Cameron has skills over here, I can't do what he does. Georgie has skills over here, I can't do what she does. But I know to surround myself with those people who can do what I can't do. And what happens when you do that? You make up a what?
Make a collaborative, not as a team, but you make a powerful synergy and a unit that can be
Say
able
that
to,
one more time. A make up a what? A powerful.
team. You make up a synergy that comes together, and they can be able to know that everyone's on the same sheet of music to
Yes.
get the job done.
Yep. And that is the key right there. So with that, guys, we got 1 minute, and I'm going to just wrap it up in saying this. It's all about having a good, solid unit. And I like the way you said that. And that's what great operational leadership does. They create a solid unit. It's not you over here, I'm over here, you over here, you doing this. It's what you see with management. And they will blame. You can't blame because actually everybody is an extension of each other. You're an extension of each other. You have to know your team strengths and weaknesses, just like your body. Your body has fingers, right? If a finger get cut off or get smashed, it's going to hurt the rest of the body. And so that's the way companies, you have to look at your company that way. If one part of that company is out of whack, it's going to affect the whole body of that company, right? Any last wrap-ups real quick?
I would just say that overall, in general, when looking at a leader, he or she have to completely have the skill set, the organizational know-how, and be able to show that, hey, here's what we can do, and we can be able to bring in the right people and the strengths and weaknesses, and be able to make the goals accomplished.
If you are a company out there who has not mastered how to implement leadership across the board, it's something that you need to do immediately. And definitely call us and we will help you, because this is not something that you can afford to wait on.
Yeah. And if you have not assessed your management crew right now, if you're not getting that, don't wait, because what you're seeing right now is companies who waited. You see an organization that waited to assess their management. And now, again, we talked earlier about that train jumping the track. The train is jumping the track all over the place right now in business. And if your business has got that warning that there may be some problems coming up with your management, or if you're not where you want to be, you see on the sign, we talk about bridging the gap. If you're not looking at ways to bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be, you got to start looking at that, because you got to be able to forecast where are you at. Well, how do you do that? And that's where we can come in to help you, to show you how to use the leverage that you have, but you got to know how to pull it out. And that's where we can set up the training, the coaching, and the consulting to help your company reach the next level. Again, I want to say, guys, thank you. And again, I look forward to next week, because we got some more great characteristics on how operational leadership is the key and the solution and the leverage to your business operation. Thank you.